Coffee.
Yeah, it's my first coffee in like maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Yeah,
Why?
I've just tried. But I was really, really ill for like 10 days, but like crazy ill. Like, and then I just lost my taste buds and I haven't really been eating and stuff. And I just don't know, it's mad. I have coffee religiously every day, but when you don't have something for so long, you stop craving it, which is quite crazy to me because I'm always having something like coffee or like a Red Bull. But yeah, so yeah, I'm confused as to how this is going to go down. If you see me have to run to the toilet, I apologize in advance. You know, you know what coffee can be like after a break without
Yeah.
going into too much detail.
Well, I've never really taken a break. So this is like a 20-year relationship. My
It's like your
longest
daily,
relationship.
your daily fuel.
It
Just
is. It's like
keeps
the
you
medicine
going.
that I need to get going in the day. But welcome everybody. Or actually, let's run the intro first because I need a little bit of music to pump myself up. Let's Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Cannon Club. Super excited to be chatting with you guys today because Arsenal are top of the table. We are well and truly in the title race, and our future is in our own hands, which is insane to say because in December/January, I was like, we're awful. Oh my gosh, we'll never recover. And now, like, what? 8 wins in a row, which is Arteta's longest win streak. And I feel like I saw something that said like this was the longest win streak that we've had in like a long time, like even under Arsenal and stuff. So it's title challenging form. I won't say it's title winning form, but it's title challenging form. And we're scoring late winners again and sabotaging ourselves. And man, did it feel like the run in last season when it was about the 60th minute. The 60th minute against Brentford, I was like, I feel like I've been here before. This feels insane. But we got it done. Kai Havertz, another goal, his fourth in four. And we have tons to talk about because, listen, things are getting super spicy. We have Porto tomorrow. And so we're going to get into the mess. Femi will join us in just a second. He has a meeting, but I'm here with Harry. Harry, how are you feeling post illness and post Arsenal win? How are you?
Yeah, no, I feel good. I feel like I expected the weekend's game to be quite a tough one. I didn't think it would be a walkover, even though we started quite fast and we got that early-ish goal. I always knew Brentford were going to come and play with like a lot of personality, and you could see that, right? They tried to frustrate us. They tried to make sneaky fouls. They tried to get in the ref's face. But yeah, glad we overcame that, and it's nice to see a different side to us. And it's really weird because even though the minutes were ticking down, I just knew we were going to score. Like I just knew we were going to score because it just felt, even though a lot of our chances were coming from like wide positions and crosses and corners and causing chaos and whatnot, I just felt like the repetition was there and we're just constantly dominating the ball. And I know they had a few little half chances on the counter attack and whatnot, but yeah, I just felt confident and I just felt like I know we're going to score. I don't know, I could just feel it. So I think that's really pleasing as a fan now. Just got so much confidence in this team. And even though I know we may not always finish our chances and we may always concede stupid goals, as a fan, I just feel so safe or safer and secure knowing that we've got a team of just young but experienced, big, strong players who understand game state. So yeah, I feel good. I feel a little bit confused. I feel a little bit embarrassed that in maybe January I was having a meltdown about how we got to sign Ivan Tony and we need to sign someone. And it turns out that all you need is a bit of sunshine in Dubai to come back and bring back the good times. So yeah.
Yeah. Um, Fuck Ivan Tony, by the way. I mean, honestly, what a loser. No, I'm joking, but seriously, like you guys, after the game, it was so funny. Like one of the funniest things that I saw was like, like if Arteta wants a player or likes a player that's on an opposition team, he usually spends like a little special moment with them, like after the game. We saw one with Declan. I've seen it before. Ivan Tony walked up to Arteta and Arteta did like a, yeah,
Yeah.
bro. And I was like, it's over. Whatever it was, it's over. Like, and I'm just like, I feel okay about that because I still think like Ivan Toney would be a good signing for in a pinch, not when you're looking for the guy for years to come. And he was on the ground the entire game. He was getting absolutely bodied by Saliba and Gabrielle. It was just like, this is not our guy. But watching Arteta just like go like, yeah, good game. Like, I was just like, damn. He probably had his little speech prepared, was ready to be like, yeah, I want to play. Blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. Maybe it's his attitude or something like that. Just like doesn't align with us. I just can't see
Yeah.
an Arsenal cat.
No, yeah, no, I agree. And that was always my reservation about personality. But then sometimes I thought, as fans, maybe we can get too obsessed about that and maybe
Yeah.
too obsessed about a player coming into the culture. Maybe they can change. And I think I had the same questions over Madison a few years ago. I was always thinking, a great player, but I don't know if he's the right sort of personality. And listen, only time will tell, but you're right. In hindsight, Ivan Toney, for maybe like 20, 25 million is a nice little signing, but anything else, it's probably a little bit too detrimental to what you're building. And if Havertz carries on developing how he's developing, then it's probably not even an issue. It's probably not even a question anymore.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have a combo about Havertz because it's just like it's not. I don't feel like everybody's done like a 180 on him. I feel like there are still some people holding their cards close and like, well, he's doing good now, but
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that.
yeah, and like I get
Yeah,
that, when you have strong opinions about a player and they're quite negative, I think for some people it's very difficult to say, I may have actually got this wrong. So it's kind of like, well, let's see how he does against Man City. Well, let's see
yeah,
how he
yeah,
does against
yeah.
Porto. Well, let's see how and it's like, well, I feel like we can say that he's been a good signing, but we'll get to that because we're going to talk about the goal. But I do kind of want to start off with talking about like the fact that this is now in our own hands. I felt like the best thing that happened with winning against Brentford was that like we put the pressure on the other two teams to have to like actually play each other, and they still just made out with each other and hugged each other all fucking day. They sicken me. Like, this is not a rivalry. Man City and Liverpool is not a rivalry. I'm sorry. It's just Man City were winning and Liverpool tagged along. I've never seen such a friendly rivalry in my life. They still found a way to draw. It's just so annoying, but the draw worked for us, which is great. And so now things are in our hands. I saw before the game, some people were saying they'd prefer Liverpool to win because like they were making all this extra shit. And I'm just like, no, I feel like we needed Man City to either get the win or for it to be a draw so that we could make it our own story. How do you feel about now things being in our hands and us kind of be like top going into this international break? We tend to kind of after this March international break to have a hiccup or two. How do you feel about it? Do you feel more, because you said you were confident, do you feel more confident now going into these latter stages now this season?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think our long break between Porto and Man City is pretty unfortunate in terms of like momentum. I would have loved I would love for us to beat Chelsea before that international break at home and then go into that Man City game. So I think I'm quite anxious about that long break, knowing what international football can do to players
Mm,
and knowing that we come back. And I assume the players will come back in like drips and drabs, maybe 3 or 4 days before the Man City game. And you've
mm,
got such a big game to prepare for. And then you go into a really, really intense game. So, I mean, listen, we are at the top of the pack. But like I say, our next game is Man City. And if we lose that, then we're not. So I'm not so make or break anymore, which is good. I don't think we have a buffer. But I think if we do lose to City, I don't think it's the end of the world because I do think City will drop points. I don't think City are going to go on that crazy run that they used to. I previously I did think they would do that, but I think now after yesterday's game I was thinking actually like
yeah.
they're obviously an amazing team, but you can get at them and defensively they are a little bit suspect, and I think that theme will continue. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's crazy how much can change in 8 games, and we have to say that we've been incredible in 8 games,
Mm,
and to now be at the top is great. But with that comes pressure, and we know what happened last year, so it's a weird feeling, isn't it? You don't want to put your cards on the table in case you get hurt. That's kind of where I
mhm.
am. So I'm just like, right, game by game, let's get to City. If we can get a point, great. If it's a narrow defeat, I can take that. I can't take a defeat where they just look like champions and we look scared. I don't think that will happen. So yeah, I suppose just got to get through Porto and then but we're here, right? We're crunch time and it's happening and we've got to be really proud of the players for turning it around. And I mean, I have this feeling of regret, which is I wish Arteta sorted this out earlier in terms of like the left day and the party right back and the Gabriel to Saudi rumours. Did that really need to instigate a change in the back line? Because if we were doing what we did now, then the left eight wouldn't be a problem because Declan Rice is kind of stepping up. But obviously at the time, Jorginho wasn't fully fit or wasn't playing as well, so it's hard. But so yeah, small feeling of regret, but also amazing to know that you can lose 4 games in the first half of the season and you can still come back and make a consistent run to the top of the table. So yeah, we'll just have to wait. But that game on the 31st, that's gonna be tense.
I couldn't believe how like tense I was watching Liverpool and Man City play, because when our game ended, I was like, yeah, I get to sit around, put my feet up, get some popcorn. And the whole game, I was shitting it. I was just like, oh my God, because I was just like, there's 2 things that we could take that would work, but it looked like the one thing that we didn't want to happen was going to happen. Liverpool genuinely should have won that game. Like, they will I feel more disappointed. They'll pretend like it's cute for them to continue to draw against like Man City and shit, but like honestly, the amount of chances that they missed and how I don't want to say Man City were bad, because I know somebody will be like, how could you say they're treble winners and they're bad? They're better than you. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that like there were times where Man City were genuinely on the ropes in a way that I've never seen them on the ropes before. I was like, damn, like they're getting ripped. They're getting roasted. Like some of the I feel like it was Diaz that like sent Walker and sent Rodri. Like there was a lot of shit going on.
Oh yeah, Diaz went on that amazing run on the left-hand side, amazing run, like and almost proved that Kyle Walker is an absolutely top defender, but sometimes he's not. If you can easily dribble and maneuver around Kyle Walker if you use your feet and technical skill, and Kyle Walker was just kind of relying on his pace and got done a few times. But yeah, I thought Liverpool's second half were just unbelievable, and I've got this love-hate thing for Klopp, but what he does, how he galvanizes a team, and how these young players just slot in and do a job, it's just commendable. Like it really is. And I don't know if it's because they play simpler football, so they don't necessarily play out from the back as much, so there's less responsibility on their young defenders to do certain things. But in terms of like just the passion factor, I feel like it's getting involved. In terms of the passion factor, I feel like that's going to really, really give Liverpool a strong chance, because they're playing with 12, 13 men. They really are. And when they get their players back, then they're going to be frightening again. So, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the game. Obviously, the penalty decision at the end, I was like, very, very, very scared.
When Doku put his leg up, I was like, it was all slow motion. I was like, you fucked it.
I couldn't work out what happened. I couldn't work out if he won the ball clearly and then his foot followed through. And then I convinced myself, well, that's okay because he's got the ball. Or I couldn't work out if his foot hit him first and then the ball hit his leg. But yeah, I mean, it probably should have been a penalty. I mean, if it was given, it's not getting overturned because it's.
For sure.
I don't think it was necessarily reckless, but it was dangerous because his foot was so high. Even though McAllister like kind of running with his chest, which was weird. So unless Doku also ran in with his chest, there was always going to be some sort of weird collision, or they were just going to end up chesting each other and kissing. So I didn't know what the option was for Doku. But yeah, great game, man. And like, nice to sit back and watch it and be like, right, just get a draw. And it kind of worked perfectly for us, really. Injury to Ederson, a few little blunders, a few little dodgy performances from some Man City defenders. So yeah, it's worked out well for us.
Yeah, it's so weird to know that, like, because we saw it against Brentford, and obviously we'll get into the Ramsdale of it all, like, because obviously his performance was it was like the best advertisement for who he is as a player. Hold on, Femi's here now. Hey.
Hey guys.
Hey. We're just getting into the I wanted to talk a little bit about because we know like Ramsdale was in, and so we saw like a little bit of like a difference between one goalkeeper to the next. But just knowing that, like, I don't know how much longer Alisson is out, but now Ederson is out, losing your number one goalkeeper and not having it could really change a lot for you, because as much as like Ederson gets talked about like he's not like a great shot stopper, the way that he plays out from the back is significantly better than Ortega. And I'm thinking to myself, like, when we played against Ortega in the Community Shield, I thought he was shaky. And I'm like, I hope you're shaky again, because if Ederson stays out, which I'm not hoping for injury, but if they can have a little damage, it is what it is. If he's not there at the Etihad, that gives us an advantage. I think the same advantage that people would feel that they would have against us if we had a different goalkeeper in. So it's interesting. Femi, what weaknesses did you see from Man City when they played against Liverpool? Do you think those weaknesses are really there? Like, do you think they'll still be there when we play them at the Etihad? What do you think? What did you think about yesterday's game? Did you watch it?
Well, yeah, that's what he asked.
Just making sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I just was just in awe of like, wow, like watching a Man City team that just didn't have any control. Like I think that only happened like once this season against Aston Villa. I'm pretty sure, where it just wasn't really making much sense. I definitely would put like a good like 70-80% of the fact that like when he would get the ball, it was just kind of like he was just kicking it. It was just always going to a Liverpool player versus like Ederson, where it almost seemed like it didn't matter how many people you were pressing. At the end of the day, he was going to find that open man. So I feel like that, as well as kind of like the way I see Ramsdale, I feel like I'm starting to really start appreciating kind of like that. Although it looks like a simple pass, it's like, no, it's like being able to kind of have that composure and having that like does wonders to be able to keep control, which then has that domino effect. So, I mean, yeah, I hope the struggles continue. I'm praying for the struggles continue. I am praying that everything I saw in that Liverpool second half is what we see for the rest of the season. I hope Ederson's out. I hope he's good eventually. I do. I don't wish injury upon anyone, but I do hope that he takes a long rest to really recover from his injury, because he's old and
you don't want to the reoccurring.
You know what I'm saying? So
might need to get a surgery. I don't know.
Do you think it was that bad, the injury? I'm not sure. It felt like just more of like a dodgy or like a dead leg or a jarred knee.
They said 3 or 4 weeks he'd be out. That's what I saw. But it could be mind game.
Okay.
That's why I don't believe anything that comes out of that bald man's mouth, honestly. He said, like, I saw one report, he was like, oh, yeah, it looks bleak. It's like, bah humbug. Okay. Yeah. I hear you. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get into our game. We'll start off with one word on how we're feeling about Arsenal right now. Femi, you can go first.
65. That's my name.
Oh,
that's my words.
So hard. I was like, who's number 65?
Is it Havertz price tag? Is that what we're doing?
100%. Hell yeah. Okay. Hell yeah. Hair flip. Oh my God. Whoa. I'm just, what is the second winner against Brentford? Oh my God, man. Like, just it's so many accounts. Just like, I'm just so happy. I don't know. Like, my real word is just like, oh, it's me. Okay. I was like, oh, where'd everyone go? Yeah, no, like, I don't know. I'm just like to a point where it's kind of like, now we're like, what, we're 7-8 games in a row in Prem. I'm just at a point now where it's like, I'm unsure if I should buy a London ticket for the end of the season. Like, I'm so zoned in. I'm so happy. I'm so like I want to talk so much shit, but at the same time, it's like,
wait, hold
on.
Early.
Yeah.
It's like, so next week, was it when we play City? Was it 2 weeks? Next week?
It's
31st. Yeah, 31st of March.
Well, okay, we got so 10 days. You see, that's what I'm saying. Can Femi be calm for 10 days? I don't know. I don't.
You got 20 days, Femi. 20 days until we play him.
20 days. Yeah. No way. So till then, I will be reliving, like, I'll be continuing to watch all 34 goals that we've scored in the past 7 games. And I will just be completely rattling Liverpool fans because they bottled a 5-point lead. So yeah, I'm a happy camper right here, man.
You know what I'll say about that though is that, like, every time that we get into a good position, there's always people that are like, oh, well, you're not going to win the league, so what does it matter? And I'm like, listen, we don't know what's going to happen because so many people didn't even think we'd be here. Like, I was somebody that just a couple of weeks ago, I didn't know what we were fucking doing. So I feel like you also just need to enjoy the moment too. Because like as a football fan, if you cannot be deluded about your football team, what are we doing here? Like you have to believe that like we are top of the table right now in March. We have to believe that we're in the title race. And like we've been so good. I thought we were really good against Brentford. I know some people were like, we just weren't sharp. We weren't this, we weren't that. I'm like, actually, I think we played well. I just think we have like this warped view of the opposition that every single opposition team is going to just let us just run over them. And Brentford had a good plan to not play football at all for the 90 minutes. And we still won, so I actually thought we played well. We missed some chances, but we defended well. They didn't have very many opportunities. They took advantage of some hesitation from Ramsdale, but ultimately, like, we're playing so well that for the next couple of weeks, like, hopefully we beat Porto tomorrow, but we can just kind of enjoy the moment because we genuinely do not know what's going to happen. And these next couple of, like, from now until the end, it's going to be rough. Y'all remember last season? It was rough. The run-in was like just, oh man. So just enjoy, just a little bit. Because it's like, we're in the title race. Watching Liverpool and Man City and really caring was taking me out of myself. I was so like standing up in front of the TV, coaching the fuck out of Man City. I was like, you need to get a point. And I'm actually surprised that I need to coach you right now. Shocked.
Did your heart drop when Doku left
yes.
raised his knee up? I mean, what was his foot up? I was like, why? Just stop. Oh my God.
I genuinely think because of the goal they scored against Nottingham Forest last week, I genuinely think VAR were probably trying to even things out and not give them the benefit of the doubt.
I don't think they wanted to make that big of a decision in that moment. I think they bottled it. I do. I think they didn't have it. They were just.
I think it should be mandatory for VAR to go over to the screen if it's like a contentious decision in injury time. For the referee to go over. I think if it's an injury time, then the referee should always have to go over if it's a contentious decision. Like that's what I think, because it's like, I mean, even when I was watching it in real time, I was trying to convince myself that it wasn't a foul, and then I realized that probably is a foul.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So something should change there, whether it's an appeal system.
Let me bring my American ideas into this. I think that we should put mics on these referees like they do, and when they're talking back and forth with bring the microphones, bring the conversations. I want to hear it because all these things that they be talking in their ears is like, I'm so sure that there's certain moments where they're in the ears like that might be a pen, and the guy, he's like, nah, I'm okay. I don't even. You're like, no, I think you should see it. No, I want to hear that. The
ref was like, listen, it's 99th minute. I want to get home. Like, it's a penalty. Then they're going to score. Then it's got to be an extra 2 minutes. And I've got a train at 10 p.m. And it's, I just want to get home to my Chinese takeaway. So the ref's just probably thinking, I've got stuff to do, man.
Agreed. I just don't think they wanted to do the moment. But if I'm a Liverpool fan, which, if I was, fuck my life. But if I'm a Liverpool fan, right? And I'm thinking about, like, let's say we get to the end of the season and they finish second or third. I'm definitely thinking about that Doku moment. And I'm 100% thinking about the Odegaard handball that I don't know how we got away with it. I just don't know.
And the Spurs goal. Or the disallowed goal at White Hart Lane. But then in the same token, they got the Jota penalty, which was madness. I know it wasn't maybe pivotal. Yeah. And they also got that decision last week when the ball should have went back to Nottingham Forest. So I'm not here. I don't really like the whole, like, it evens itself out. And I don't really like but what about this decision? What about that decision? But unfortunately, I think it's the nature of the league every single season. I think when Liverpool lost the league maybe 3-4 years ago, I think it was Company or should have got a red card in the game. And Harry Kane definitely should have got a red card on Robinson. On Robertson, sorry. So it's really, really tough. And we know as Arsenal fans, we've had some really poor decisions over the past couple of years and they can really hurt you. But I do feel like you do get a few in your favour now and then as well, so you kind of have to ride it. But Liverpool definitely deserve to be upset because the one against Spurs was just fucking.
That was
ridiculous.
insane. Like that's still the worst refereeing situation this season.
Just
for
hilarious
sure.
when you think about it. Hilarious.
Yeah.
You guys remember that one? Do you remember that like the Stonewall pen that Cedric had on the Sun that one year? And I was like, oh my God, yeah, no, I totally agree with that one. It was like a little nudge. It was like the same collisions that happen on every corner. Which
that game, man, that game was a stitch up. That game was a stitch up. That was never a penalty. But when you watched it in 1 minute, in one like angle, slow down, you go, okay, yeah. But you're just ushering Son out of the way. I was at that game. I think we left like 65th minute. That was without doubt.
And you've never seen anybody else get that ever.
Yeah. Oh,
it was the last time it ever happened.
Yeah,
that's typical like home decisions, right? Just home decisions from the ref. Yeah. Oh, that was a horrible.
They were happy to make the decision in the top 4 race that season, but they weren't happy to make the decision in the title race this season. They're so fucking inconsistent. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But what's your one word, Harry?
I'm gonna say elite.
I like that.
I feel like, not to get involved in football Twitter or rival fans, I feel like so many rival fans will tell us that we're bottle jobs and try to bring us down. And I think they say that in fear because they know how good we are. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans who aren't keen on Arteta will also make everything so dramatic and so black and white and almost like reductive in terms of if we don't win something, it's shit and this player's shit and we wasted money on this player. And then I just look at our form over the past almost 2 seasons now. And I'm just like, man, we're just class. Like, we are just class. And we've definitely had stages this season, no doubt. I think I said after the Palace game, we won 5-0. I was like, yeah, I just want to see more. But regardless of that, like, we're there now. And I just feel like I'm watching an incredible team, part of this incredibly well-organized like institution with a manager who understands how to galvanize and motivate people and understands the importance of doing everything behind the scenes, whether it's the training ground, whether it's pictures of old managers, whether it's these big statements across the changing room, whether it's writing down on the whiteboard of how you feel about the Emirates Stadium. I think we have a manager who's so tapped in about everything outside of the football pitch that we're in such good hands. Like, we're in such good hands. And it baffles me how our own fans don't want to be a part of it and almost increase the gap and separate themselves and criticize us for singing songs or enjoying the moments. And I'm like, man, this is what it's about. Like, okay, we might not win the league this year, but I'd rather be close than I would be miles apart. And the standard has been raised so high now that we have just elite quality players. And Arteta is the only manager in maybe the past 15 years who's raised the standards of the players. You know, there's no Mustafis and Socrates and Lichtsteiners and Guendouzi's and Torreiras and all these players that we think, oh yeah, they're good enough, they're good. Those players are all in the past. It's not a criticism of them. And okay, we have a few loitering around in Cedric and El Neni, but we know what they bring in terms of value in within the squad. So yeah, I just feel like elite. And even if we don't win the league this year, and even if we get knocked out in the Champions League in the next few rounds, I still feel like we're close. We're on the right track. So I'm more than willing to be patient. And because we've got such a young team with long-term contracts secured and players who clearly like love the club, like the way they celebrate goals individually, collectively is just a sight to see. So as an Arsenal fan, I don't want to sound silly, but as a match-going fan that kind of lives and breathes it for those 90 minutes, for me, it's everything that I've wanted from my club. So yeah, like elite, grateful, and hopefully we can do something special this year. And if not, then next season it will happen. Yeah, and Liverpool had to wait. Yeah, Liverpool had to wait a few years, man. Like Liverpool had to wait a few years, and they've got what, 1 league title under Klopp? Is that right? Just 1 or 2?
Yeah, they have 1.
Yeah, 1. Exactly. Like there's no doubt you're competing against incredible teams, and just because you're a really good team, it doesn't mean that you're unsuccessful if you don't win the league. Like, we can't be so black and white. So yeah, sorry, a bit of a ramble, but yeah, feeling good, and yeah, we're elite, we're back, and it's good times.
Yeah, people have to still remember that, like, and I know people get tired of hearing it, but when other people have young teams, they tend to talk about it quite a fucking lot. But we have the 3rd youngest squad and a manager that's never done this shit before. So, Liverpool, it was acceptable for them to only win one league title. Maybe they'll win it this year, who knows, but one league title in like 7 fucking years or something like that. And like I said, just be the bridesmaid for Man City all these years, with a world-class manager and a team full of world-class players. And I do think we have world-class players in our team, but the overall like opinion of the media and other rival fans is that like we don't have any world-class players in our team. We have a manager that's clueless. And I'm just like, well, fuck, with a clueless ass manager and some ass players, like we're doing fucking good. So we know it's not true, but like we are doing a lot. And we are doing really well. So, it's really nice to see. So yeah, if we don't win it, obviously it'll be disappointing, but we still have like a striker to add to this. We have so much to add to this, so it's great. My one word is going to be clutch. I think what Declan Rice and Kai Havertz may not have in aesthetics, I'll say aesthetics maybe, of the players that they've replaced in the team, what they add is big game fucking cojones. They have the ability to make the right decisions at the right moments in big matches. And I'm not trying to like slander the players that they've replaced, but I can really I'm struggling to find moments where they actually came up big for us when it really mattered, where I can name at least 3 or 4 in just this one season from Kai Havertz and Declan Rice. The winner against Man United, the equalizer against Chelsea, the winner against Luton, the equalizer against Luton, the winner against Brentford, both times from Kai. And so it's what they lack maybe in the aesthetically pleasing bullshit. They give us what we've always needed. And we have kind of moved away a little bit from the tiki-taka style that I feel like people are so in love with when it comes to Arsenal. We have that. We still play nice football. But when's the last time you've seen an Arsenal team score 2 goals with headers in moments the way that we are? Like, this is very different for us. Big players, athletes, we can go direct. We can score on set pieces. We're very dynamic. We can change our shit up. And we have players that are young but have a lot of experience and can show up in the big moments. It's so important because shout out to Alice Abrams. She's one of the best content creators out there, and she's a Man United fan, but she speaks the truth. She was saying on her post-match for Arsenal Brentford that Arsenal, what they've missed, that's something that the other teams have, is players that can show up in the moments. And that doesn't mean that our players are not good, but it's kind of been like, when we need that goal, we can't get it. Last season, we draw that game against Brentford. We literally did. I was there. We drew 1-1. Brentford had a lot more chances. They had a lot more to say in that game. We scored 1 goal, but we still bottled it. We really did. And this season we win. And we didn't look flustered. In my opinion. I think, obviously it's an emotional game because they're going on the ground and there's a lot of fouls and it's chippy. But I don't think we lost our heads the way that we did last season. I think Kai Havertz and Declan Rice have added a lot to this team where, maybe it was hard to see at the beginning, especially with Kai, but it's like, it's so obvious what they're adding, but people only focus on the fact that it doesn't look as good. I'm like, but does it feel better? To me, it feels good. I'm like, this feels right. You have to have players in the team that step up in the moment. So for me, it's clutch. We have those clutch players in our team. And I mean, I could literally see Kai Havertz scoring some big goals for us. It ain't going to look good. He's going to be tripping over his own fucking feet, the giraffe, but he can do it, I think, so it's exciting. It really is. Femi, do you have something to say? Look energetic over there on that side.
Look,
here's the thing. But Kevin Hart, that was.
Hey, look, boy, 6'3", 6'3" channel runner who ain't the greatest in the midfield, but can do his part when everybody else decides, hey, I can't. But my left knee don't work, my right knee don't work, my left ankle don't work. Hey, he pops in when he can, wins us some games for 65 and 200K a week. Hey, if you bring a prem with it, I'm not complaining. Actually, scratch that. I was never complaining. I
No,
was
you
never complaining because it was always okay. Anyways, outside of that, I just love the team, man. And on top of that, I'll say even I actually tend to jump topics, so I want to make sure if I say the R word and it Ramsdale, am I allowed to like talk about him right now, or you have that ready to go for later?
We're gonna get into it.
See, I'm learning.
We're really gonna get into it. Yeah, because obviously I have to have my moment.
Oh.
So, and I will have it on the show. I will, but we'll wait. We'll wait. Okay. We'll let it cook a little bit longer. Moment of the game. Harry, do you have one? I mean, obviously, like the obvious one is the Kai Havertz goal, but do you have what is yours? You could steal that one if that's it for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's quite a few. I don't know. I don't want to highlight too many individuals, but I really liked Jorginho's performance. Some of the passes, the through ball to Havertz was great. When he really should have scored that 1-on-1, and not to digress too much, but if Havertz can add those, I think he's missed a couple of 1-on-1s recently. If he can add that to his game, then you've got a really nice all-round striker. But yeah, I think my moment of the game is the last 5 minutes when we defended so well and they played long and we won some great headers. And there were headers that were sometimes quite low where Saliba had to really kind of get over the guy's shoulder, but they won it so convincingly without making a foul. And then we won a few fouls and you could see Ben White and Gabriel all celebrating. So the way we kind of just diffused any danger in those last 5 minutes, I thought was brilliant, because it could have been real panic stations at the end, but we defended so well and won all of our duels. So yeah, I just think that last little passage just leaves me with a lot of confidence, and it says to me, right, if we're 1-0 up in the game, we can probably see a lead out. Maybe we can't see a lead out at half time because we always seem to concede a silly goal. But when it comes to the full-time whistle, I feel like our defenders are really on job. So yeah, that was my moment of the game, that kind of back-to-back headers. And then I think Ivan Toney went down at one point when him and Gabriel got in a tangle, and they were trying to wind Gabriel up all time. I think it's Collins for Brentford, mate, like an English Pepe. He was a wind-up merchant. Every time something happened, he was up, trying to get into players' faces, trying to rattle them, go into the ref. Every time we should have got maybe a penalty, all the Brentford players were trying to overcompensate for the foul by accusing us of diving, getting around the referee. It was all of that. But that Collins in particular was really trying to get under our skin. And it's almost like, listen, we're too good for this. We're not stupid. We don't get bookings anymore. We don't get red cards anymore. We're in control of our own destiny. You're not going to mess us around. We're not kids. So I love the way, we closed that game out and just, showed Brentford that you've tried to ruffle us up because you know you can't beat us playing football, and it ain't happening.
Exactly. Like one of the headers that Gabriel headed out, at the end of the game, I swear to you, I had the most inside emotional moment. I was like, oh my gosh, he gets it. He knows what it means. He headed the ball out. I was like, please, thank you so much. I love Gabriel. I almost wish Odegaard, when he came off, he would have given the armband to Gabriel. Not
he gave it to Jesus, right?
Yeah, he gave it to Jesus.
Yeah,
I get it because he's older and more experienced, but let's be fucking for real. Gabriel is the leader at the back. He just is, and he just gets it. And you're right. A couple of years ago, Gabriel on a yellow so early on in the game gets a red,
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, for reals. He does. But now for him to have managed that yellow for that whole game with Ivan Toney acting like a little bitch, I just was wow, I love this so much. Femi, what is your one moment or your best moment?
Oh, it's definitely not the best moment, but it definitely is one of my favorite moments. Yeah. It was a specific Ramsdale save, probably 5 minutes into the second half, where it was if that ball goes in, game's over. I would have turned the phone. I would have turned the game off. I was so it was a little siege they were going on, where they were just popping the ball over. It was just finding its way in the right moments at the right time, and I'm they might capitalize on this. And I think like Ramsdale was like, I think we were like setting up in the way we usually do. They got the ball really quickly and then they tried to pop it over him. And the way he kind of like tips it over, it was like in my head, I'm just kind of like, it kind of just represents how resilient this team is, because even if last year, I remember like there was moments where I felt like, okay,
yeah,
we fucked ourselves, and then it was just like for the rest of the game, it's almost as if like they're just overthinking about that but no, it was like they got over it and continued to, it was almost like business as usual. And I feel like that just represents just this team in terms of like, I feel like they recognize, especially from last season, like things will happen. Like at the end of the day, no matter how good you are, like shit happens, and we will not clobber teams 5-5-6-7-0. And in fact, there will be games where like games we should be up 2-3-4, we're gonna find ourselves leveled. And when that happens, what are you going to do? And for them to kind of have this kind of just, all right, next play, let's just worry about the next play, worry about the next ball, worry about the next duel, versus like, oh no, like I made a mistake. Oh my God, let me make sure like Ramsdale continue to like be a bit more. I just hope he get. Like, I would try to keep as much as I can for the actual segment, but there's just certain things he just needs to get together. But for him to still
at another
shout out to him in that moment.
Oh my gosh. Listen, like there's so many moments in this game, but I'll take the big one. Obviously the Kai Havertz goal. It's just like the conviction behind it was amazing. The cross from Benny was great. It's under a lot of pressure. We had missed some bigger chances. Like I remember like Declan Rice hits the woodwork and I think, fuck, was that it? Like, is it going to be one of those days? Like, and he puts it in the back of the net and he celebrates. And I'm just like, wow, like maybe we needed this. Maybe I needed, a bit of jeopardy in my life, because the last 7 games were just so easy that maybe they just needed to get the juices flowing again. I don't know, because I was like, I feel alive again. But I don't want another one. Definitely not against Porto, guys. Let's make that business as usual. Seriously. Like, I can't do it. But I just thought like I just love seeing the Emirates erupt. I love seeing them celebrate. There's like so many different like little memes of like Ben and Odegaard doing the same celebration at the same time. And like, it's just so cute. Like I love watching us celebrate, and we deserved it. And we were the much better team. And I loved watching the Brentford players crumble to their knees. Because they literally stopped all that falling down on the ground once we scored that second goal. They were just like, all of a sudden, nobody was injured. Nobody needed assistance. Nobody needed the medicals. Nobody needed anything. I was like, oh, so you're okay now. I love Thomas Frank. Don't get me wrong, but you did not come to play football, and you deserved everything that you got. And everybody that was complaining about Kai Havertz not supposed to be on the pitch, the thing about it is that Brentford still left him wide open in the box. And whether he should have been sent off or not for diving, first of all, nobody really gets yellows for diving. It doesn't happen very often. But you still have to defend. And so try to make that as an excuse. Who knows if that would have just been somebody else. Like you can't even just say that because it's Kai Havertz, that goal wouldn't have happened. It could have happened a different way if he was off the pitch. So fuck off. That was my moment. I loved it. And long may it continue. Let's go ahead and get into some players. We can do one each because we still have to do Porto. But I guess I'll start with this one. I will start off with I'll start off with Ramsdale. I just have to. I'm so sorry. Like it's one of those things where I'm so happy that we won because everything kind of like went in the right thing. I don't want I'm petty, but I'm not that petty. I know that I'm right about the Ramsdale thing. Always did. That's why I doubled down, tripled down, 10 toes down, everything, because it's not that difficult to understand. Ramsdale, what he did against Brentford is kind of like the reason why he's not back there. It's not because he can't save goals. Like he's a great shot stopping goalkeeper, especially when his back is against the wall. But it's those split second moments where he takes too long on the ball And he just doesn't have the same composure as Raya, and we need that back there. We don't need, it was like this whole game had like an element of nervousness that was already there because of the pressure. And it was exacerbated by having a different goalkeeper back there that does not encompass calmness. Like, he is the opposite of that. He's energetic, he's vibes, he's all in your face. And so, he's not a bad goalkeeper, and I've always said that. I just feel as though, I'm glad that we won the game, because I didn't want to have to sit here after and talk about it like that. That being said, I told y'all, I'm sorry. Anybody that was pretending like they didn't get it, I'm like, I get that. Most of the reason why people love Ramsdale is because of his energy and his personality, but we all know that he has this in him. Now, there was the, argument about, like, was he rusty? I could understand that more if he didn't make these exact same mistakes when he was the number one. Like, he did it when he was the number one. And you don't necessarily like, oh, well, he should have got minutes in the games where we were winning 7-0. Would you have given him minutes if this was a Europa League or FA Cup or something coming up? No, you wouldn't have. So that's just not real, you guys. Like, he just showed exactly the reason why we needed to upgrade. Did we need to upgrade the way that we did? Was it messy? Absolutely. But hopefully we can just put this to bed. Raya is the number one, and it's clear why. It's not because Raya is the significantly better shot stopper. He's not an Ederson, but he's our Ederson, and that's what we need. And unfortunately, like, Ramsdale had the moment. But what I like about Ramsdale and what I like about this team is that everybody got behind him, and it wasn't like a thing. And he was able to calm himself down enough to make those really good saves, which is his best quality. He can make some of the most fantastic saves, like those split-second ones, especially in the air. And the Tony shot and the Collins header, those are 2 goals if he doesn't save those. And I do agree with people that say that Raya is not making those. But equally, we're not in that predicament if Raya's in the goal. So, yeah, Ramsdale he stood out. Glad he gets to go out on a high, but it's just, I don't know what to tell you guys. It just was so obvious, and like, you didn't have to fight it this long. So hopefully we can put it to bed. Femi, what are your thoughts on the Ramsdale situation?
What
were you?
On both ways, I'd say. I feel like it's I don't buy the he's rusty thing, only because it's like, he knew, like, if there were 2 guaranteed games he would play, it's Brentford. It's like circled. It's on your calendar. Like, if there's ever a time you're going to play, it's Arteta and them told him, everyone. And there's this thing where it's kind of like, you can say it's rusty, but it's like, you also know that this is your only opportunity to show why Raya shouldn't be the number one. This should be you. And it's like, to not be able to kind of take those, I would say, to be able, because like all the things that they're learning in practice and trainings and tactics, it's like, you know that your main job to keep us floating is to pretty much mimic what Raya is doing, which is the calmness to kind of just find those passes. Or if you want to do things your way, if you want to be more of the long ball merchant, it has to be accurate. And honestly speaking, I think for the first 43 minutes, he was good. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought he was pretty decent. Like, he was claiming crosses. I was like, whoa. There was one moment, like, I saw him at the halfway line. I was like, you do that now? Okay, cool. I was like, okay, I'm rocking with it. And then some of his old antics, like, it's like some of the things that he still struggles with was very evident, which then was like the goal, as well as certain moments where it was kind of like, there were certain passes where I know for a fact Raya would have made that he just doesn't see, or it's just not in his wheelhouse, because he's a keeper. He's not. With Raya, I feel like we have another outfield player. I feel like with Ramsdale, we have a sweeper keeper. It's just what he is. So it sucks, but he's young. He's British. He's, he loves energy and he loves hostile environments, and
he's gonna land on his feet.
Yeah, he has that one award, that best goalkeeper award. So 45 mil, drop it on the table, is yours. Take it.
Yeah.
And then we get a cool 19, 20-year-old, 6'1", 6'2" guy who from Spain who loves being on the ball. We'd be all right. So I see both sides. I feel for Ramsdale because like he was the one that really was like, wow, like you could tell he loved Arsenal. He loves England. He loves it. He loves it.
Yeah. I mean, he does look a little bit dejected overall. He's certainly not as confident or as vocal, is he, or as joyful on the pitch that he used to be.
Yeah.
The celebrations are definitely there, but I don't feel like there's as much. He's not as much as part of it, which is fine. He probably feels slightly disconnected.
Yeah.
On the goal, I've watched it so many times. I tried to work out what he's done wrong because when you think about it, the first touch isn't necessarily bad, and it doesn't take that long. It's not like he's waiting ages to clear the ball. But I feel like if Raya is in goal, he's higher up. So Gabriel plays the pass to almost someone who's next to him as opposed to behind him. And if you look, Ødegaard runs towards Ramsdale because he knows that, cool, give me the ball to feet. But
White is also open on the right.
Yeah,
right
Ramsdale's so deep. So the first touch is there, and then there's a hesitation. And before you know it, I mean, I think it's great from Wissa to close down so quickly. But I think that's the difference. Raya would have just been higher up. The pass from Gabriel would have been playing a pass to Raya, who's next to him. And Raya would have been so confident on the ball, it would just be like an outfield player.
It would have been instinctive.
Just pop it into Ødegaard. And he probably wouldn't even got closed down the same way if Raya was in goal.
Yeah.
I think they knew all.
Us.
Yeah, and Ramsdale was actually quite deep when you look at it. The ball from Gabriel, I don't want to nitpick. It's not the perfect pass to Ramsdale. It's a little bit slow. It could have done with a little bit more zip, maybe more in front of him, so Ramsdale could just clear it straight away. But ultimately, yeah, it just wasn't great. And he made some good saves. I'm happy for him. And that's it. Like it's case closed, and we move on and we try and get some money for him. And hopefully his value is still high enough. He's a good keeper. I can actually see him at a team like Brentford. I feel like Thomas Frank was trying to butter him up at the end of the game. I think he's probably got higher ambitions than Brentford, but I can see him at that sort of team. So yeah, we move on. David Raya is our number one. He's been great.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the way we're dominating games, the way we're suffocating games, like we just need a goalkeeper who's decent enough at shot stopping, but who's class with the ball at his feet. Because that's what we need.
The thing is like, when you do that thing where, because he went long way more than Raya does. And what happens when you do that is that you create a lot of 50-50s. You create a lot of opportunities for teams to win the ball off of you. And what was happening is Brentford are very good in the air. And there was moments where they were winning that first and second ball and creating opportunities off of that. And then so you end up getting the Tony shot. You end up getting the Collins header. Like those things start happening. So that is why, like I say, it's bigger than just like passing out from the back. It's when you make those little passes and you keep possession, you eliminate the 50-50s that end up being opportunities for the opposition. And so I just felt like this whole game felt a lot more like last season than this season has felt, which was a lot more edgy. And then what Ramsdale does is he makes a couple of saves and then people are like, but he saved us. It's like, yeah, but the way that he plays it introduces that stress, and that's just all it is. So yeah, happy for him to have gotten the win, but that was fucking wild. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like it very much so sent me into a tailspin. Like it's
classic Arsenal as well. The way we've conceded goals recently, it's just like, oh my god, are we doing this again?
Yes.
Are we really going to give away a stupid goal towards the end of the first half? That is totally unavoidable. I was like, why do we keep doing this? And I just feel like the only sort of goals we concede are those shit goals. Otherwise, we'd have like a 0 goal difference this year, apart from maybe a few games. It's just madness. So yeah, 0 goals conceded if we defend a lot better. But yeah, it is what it is. We won, so Ramsdale Ramsdale lives on, and he doesn't have to feel too bad about himself.
Yeah. What's your player, Harry?
I mentioned it briefly, but I'm probably going to say Jorginho. I think there was a lot of standout performances, but I thought some of the passes he made, the through balls he made, was really, really good. It's just such a shame, and like I said earlier, that we didn't find that solution earlier on in the season, because Declan Rice is living life at the moment. I think Declan Rice has got 12 goal contributions this year, which is pretty damn good for a DM. So yeah, I thought Jorginho was brilliant, and he just keeps it ticking, and the way he finds Ødegaard, and then Ødegaard, Saka, Ben White just kind of hold that right hand side and just keep playing it back and forth until there's an opening, I think is great. So yeah, Jorginho's been really, really good. I hope he's ready for Tuesday night. I feel like it would have been great if Saturday wasn't a stressful game and it was a game that we won 2-3-0 and made early subs, because Porto's going to be a lot. It's going to be demanding physically and mentally.
At least
But
Jorginho came off early.
yeah, true. Yeah, but for me, and I think that was with Tuesday in mind. Obviously, Partey's probably still a little bit short, but yeah, for me, it's going to be Jorginho. He's worked out to be a really, really good player, and and long may it continue.
Yeah, Femi, who's your player?
Who do you think?
Ben White.
Whoa, you're actually really good. Wow. It has been White.
We already spoken about Kai, so we have to speak about Ben.
Oh no, I wouldn't care if we did talk about Kai right now. Ben White was just like, I don't think there's enough superlatives for him, especially since it's like, I'm happy he got his assists, because like in the games where he doesn't, sometimes like I feel like his impact is like understated, and I feel like what he's been doing, especially with now that Kiwi is now playing, he has to invert more. I feel like this is like the fourth role change he's had to do in the past like 2 years. And each time we've given him something new to do, he within 2-3 games, and sometimes even less, he's done it flawlessly. And for the player we got, I knew he was a decent player when we bought him. I was kind of like, oh, Ben White. Then I did some research. I was like, oh wow, he's played DM, he's played right back. Okay, cool. For him to be the player he is now, and the way he speaks, and how it's like, even as much as like he was speaking about like, like he, even when he's injured, he has to play because we don't have that many numbers, and him just taking that on and being kind of like one of the leaders without being a leader. Nah, I'm a happy camper. Happy camper. Love this guy so much, and long may it continue with him.
Yeah, I need to be like so honest. Like, Ben White is so much better than I thought he was going to be when we first bought him. Like, because I didn't have very many expectations, because I didn't know about him. He was a player that I was really like, very like, I'll say like my worst take ever, and I've had a lot. With like, is Ben White even better than Rob Holding? When we were first linked,
Hey, I was there.
Like, you were there, yeah.
I was part of it. I said, I bet that's not even the difference between Rob Holding and Ben White. It was dark times, man. The standards were low. So it's hard to perceive who was good and who wasn't. I thought Danny Ceballos was the answer. It's just, we've come a long way.
Yeah, we really have. That's why it's like seeing his development has been fantastic, and he's finally getting his flowers. I felt like that period of time where he wasn't playing well, it was so obvious that he was injured. And now he's coming into form at the perfect time. He just makes the right-hand side just perfect. Him, Odegaard, and Saka just work. And he does so many roles, like Femi said. He was fantastic. This was the Ben White game. And hopefully we remember it, because he was also really good against Bournemouth when we beat them last minute. He tends to have these really good games when we're under some pressure too. One of my favorite Ben White games is the 0-0 at Anfield when we played them in the Carabao Cup a couple years ago. He was and we had 10 men early. Xhaka got sent off. He just has that Titan feeling about him. He's very much so like a fighter and a battler, with a great tan. So well done to him. I love the guy. He's so good. Did you want to get any words on Ben White, Harry, before you go?
No, I just agree. I think his standing style and running style is really interesting, because he has this ability to stand really, really straight, but he's always on the front foot. He's always ready to go, so he can always kind of bounce past players. And his little like connection plays with Saka and Odegaard, it's so simple, but even like the 1-2 for Odegaard, it's just, he just makes those runs at the right time, and then he's always in control of his body. I feel like I don't see him make that many slide tackles. I feel like he's always in the right position. Just a really good, effective player, and deserves more praise, but it's fine because we know how good he is. And like you say, great tan. Don't know how he keeps it all year round, but hopefully he's wearing some SPF when he can, because I don't think it's healthy to have that many sunbeds.
That's what
Sorry?
I think it's the foam tan, like,
I think it's sunbeds. I reckon he's on sunbeds every week.
No. I wonder if he has one in his house.
Yeah. Oh, if you went, oh yeah, I think he's probably got sunbed
You're
in
right.
his house. He's probably got a
Yeah.
room which is just mirrors everywhere on the
To bed.
floor, so he can
Yeah.
see all of his tattoos. He's probably got, yeah. I mean, listen, he likes to look after himself, and you can't knock someone for that. But yeah, great player,
I mean,
great
how could
person.
you? Like, yeah, like he looks out for himself. Like he's just great. I just love him so much, and I love his personality. And I said it, and I still believe it's true. I think he's top 3 right backs in the league right now. I know people will cry about Reece James, but he's been missing for 5 years. So I don't know. I feel like it's that whole he's the best in the league thing fucking expired, so get over that. It's
Yeah, you
Kyle
need to play some. You need to play some football games so we can see it. You
Yeah, it's like
can't just have. You can't be injured every week and then demands that this player gets respect. Ben White, like we say, the best availability or whatever we say, the best attribute is
inconsistency of
availability.
performances and all that kind of stuff. I said what I said. But Harry, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And me and Femi are going to preview Porto. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you soon.
Take care, guys. All the best.
Bye. All right. It's just me and you. All right. So now we need to talk about Porto. Was this game against Brentford a good warm-up for Porto, knowing that Porto basically their manager said after they beat us in Portugal was that Arsenal came to play football, we came to win. So their whole game, am I boring you?
It is. Daylight
Sir.
savings. Daylight savings. Technically speaking, I'm still recovering. Don't do that. Just you see,
Not recovering.
when Harry was, you see, you do this when other people. You were a bully. You're a bully. You're a bully. Come on.
And I've never denied it. Okay. So back to what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted. Was this a good dress rehearsal, knowing that Porto don't really want to play football against us? They want to act and do nonsense.
Yes, but not for the players. I think it was for the fans. I think the way the M's was rocking when we were like, it was nil, and it was like that like the 50s. When I mean like it was shaking, and I was like, that's what was missing. It was like, I feel like earlier in the season, people were like, oh, the energy isn't the same. It's like, yeah, because they're like, we don't care about this part anymore. Like, which is a great place to be as a fan. Like, we don't care about these wins in December, and well, we weren't really winning in December, but like, the wins in like October, and like, it's like, because it's like we're almost like we're not new to this. What we care about is the run-in. What we care about is the Champions League. So it's like to see what we sound like and how we react when our backs are against the wall, because that's what it felt like. I enjoyed that, and it kind of gave me that like faith that like our fan base is going to come ready for tomorrow. Like, they're ready. And as far as like our team, like, I'm gonna be real with you, I think we're slapping them. I think and forgive me I think we're slapping the dog shit out of them tomorrow. And not in like a 4, 5, 6, 7, not like 7, 8, 9, 0, but like, I think that like, I don't think Porto understands how good we actually are. And I think because we had that one game where it was like, like the field and the crowd, and I'm excited for them to come to our stadium, which is why like I'm actually happy that Arteta did the whiteboard of, I want the players to acknowledge how the fans really do make them feel, and they want them to draw from that. So honestly speaking, I think we're ready. Like, even Brentford tried that mid-block nonsense. They tried, going along. They tried, falling on the floor, petty fouls, I'm hurt, this and they're trying to stop. And it's like, we had some for that. So I'm ready for it. And I think they're ready, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, I like the point about like it being a good dress rehearsal for the fans. And I just think that like when we were in Porto, I just feel like there was like a level of like, we haven't been here before. So there just wasn't like, we just were like a little bit shook. But at home, I feel like it'll be a lot like Lens. We might not slap them the way that we slap Lens, but we went away to Lens. We got kind of like wrapped up in the environment. We fucked up a little bit. Whatever. We had some injuries. Like, there's things going on. I think at home, we are going to show up. I just hope we get like the early goal and make them have to play a little bit. But how are you going into this game, like in terms of like a lineup? I saw that Tomiyasu is back in training, but I would imagine that doesn't mean that he's fully fit. But Martinelli is not in training. We know Jesus has been on the bench. Jorginho's been playing well, but, maybe Jesus comes back into the team. What are your ideas? Because when we were in Portugal, I remember after the game, a lot of people were saying we missed Jesus / Zinchenko. What is your feeling on that?
I think that Jesus should come back in, but not for Kai, nor for Declan Rice or Jorginho. I feel like that left wing spot, I think I would love him there. I think you go Jesus, Havertz, Saka, and then have that Jorginho kind of running the show, because I felt like we were missing that. Like there was just something about that mid block that was kind of like there was something that some guy said. Like I said, some guy, I forgot his account, but he was just kind of like, with mid blocks, you can't play through. You have to either play over or around. And Porto kind of was like, their coach was right. Like, we tried to play our brand of football, realizing that like they came in with the exact strategy to stop that, which is just make it compact in the middle of the pitch and be aggressive and stop, the flow. And I feel like when we have Harry touched on it perfectly, those balls over the top by Jorginho, and it's not just this game. I mean, the past 3 games, it's been like picture perfect. So I think Jorginho has to stay in the team. I think adding Zinchenko would be overkill. I don't think we need him. Not right now. Maybe like if things are a little shaky and we still haven't got a goal by like the 55th minute, 60th, and we're like, okay, we need to just get attacking options, then cool. But like, their counterattack scares me. I'm not going to lie to you. Like there were like 4 or 5 moments in that Porto game where they were running. Yeah. And I just don't need Zinchenko at the end of those. Like, not right now. So I think keep it the same. Just instead of Trossard on that left wing, just put Jesus. And I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, I think we have to be super careful because we cannot concede. And I just feel like there's been some players that have been out for so long that I'd be afraid to put them in such a big game right now. So it's like Zinchenko and Partey, unfortunately, you need to kind of like just sit on the bench for a minute. Jesus is a little bit different because he's further up the pitch, and it's a little bit more like we know what he can do on the wing. And it's probably a better fit than Trossard for this game. Like, Trossard is just more of a central player. Like, he did not look that great on left wing against Brentford. And so I do feel like, and I also did not like his performance against Porto away. I don't know what it is. Like, he just has like these games where he just like cannot cope. And so I'm hoping that like Jesus's record and experience in the Champions League would come up good for us. We'd have Jesus with his experience, Kai with his experience, Jorginho with his experience, and hopefully Odegaard, Saka, and these guys to like really fill out the team and like give us the best possible chance. It'll be nice to have Raya back because obviously like that'll settle things down. You're totally confident. I'm shitting it. I'm so fucking nervous. Like we need to get to at least like we have like a Boogabear thing with the round of 16. We have to get beyond it.
Least. You see, again, maybe it's because I am like over. Like I think we're winning it. Like it's so bad that like I'm like in my head it's like maybe it's the run we're on, but it's like, bro, who's like I'm gonna be real with you. Like, people have these world-class players, but like name me a team that is like the only team that would have probably been like is Leverkusen, and they're not even the same comp as us right now. Like I don't know. But like I that's why I say like I'm not even looking at Porto right now because my mind is like I want to see us in the semis at least. Like I like that. Like what a statement that would be, our first year back, and like when So, but I'm a hopeful romantic and a hopeful football fan. So I'm sorry. It's just who I am.
if you can't be a little Delulu, what's the point? But I get you. Like, I just want to at least get to the next round. I just don't, and I don't want to go into the international break with that nasty feeling of like, man, we went out. Like now all we have is the Premier League and this and that. If somebody was to score the winning goal or the goal to take us over the line, who do you think that would be?
It would just be so funny if it's Kai. Like, I'm not even saying this as a fan. Like, it's just so like it's like written in the stars that a GA by Kai is going to put us over like the edge. But like, I can also see like it being Jesus. Only there's just something about Champions League for him that it's like, you know what? I can see the goal. I can kick straight. I can't, like, there's just something about it. I remember he was injured for a little bit at the beginning of the season. Not even a little bit, like for a good month. He was injured, came back, was kind of a little rusty in Prem, came back and was just blazing in champs. And I was like, okay. So I can see Jesus. I can see Kai. Like, the great thing about our team is the fact that, like, you can't put a parlay on who's going to score because it's literally distribute. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, Raya could have an assist. Like, it's that weird. So I think Kai, I think Jesus, but truth be told, it literally could be anyone. Literally.
Yeah, I agree. Like, can't quite put your finger on it. I mean, this would be a great game for Saka to really lay down the mark.
Again.
Champions League, because I just believe he has it. Like, he could go in there and really do it for us. So, yeah, and Arteta getting his tactics spot on. I'm sure that he's looked at. I'm sure that he understands that we probably need Jorginho, in midfield, and not having him away at Porto. We weren't awful, but we weren't the way that we've been, lately. So it wasn't awful. We're only one goal down. But yeah, I'm kind of excited for tomorrow. I'm just kind of also very nervous. So we'll see. But yeah, listen, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We're not going to do score predictions because we're literally just going to say, we're both going to say we're going to go through. Like
3-1. Yep.
Okay, 3-1. Yep. Okay.
I'm just say 3-0 quick. We're done. There we go.
Yeah. Exactly. So hopefully that's what happens. But you guys let us know what you thought about the show. This was going to be obviously ad-free on Patreon. So if you want to be a patron, you guys can go to patreon.com/The Cannon Club and become a member so you don't have to watch all the ads. Otherwise, watch the ads so that I get paid more. Thanks. Because I love you guys and you love me. But also in the comments, just let me know what you guys thought about the show and everything. And we will see you. We'll figure out the schedule, what we're going to do for the rest of the week, but you'll definitely see me for player ratings and all that kind of stuff after Porto. And I will be doing a watch along, unfortunately. So there you go. But like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff if you're watching on YouTube. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.